So from there now we can straight away start with this thing that we were to do in that lesson that I aborted. Very important about capital rationing. So when we talk of capital rationing, what comes to your mind? When we talk of capital rationing, ladies and gentlemen, this is what comes to my mind. When we talk of capital rationing, we are looking at basically scarcity, that capital is never scarce, that this world has got a way of giving you just some little capital, which in this case, you can never finance all your ambitions, right? And as such, this capital, given that it is scarce, it has to be really whatever you have on your hands. You must ensure that you invest it in projects which are going to maximize the shareholders' wealth. We give it net present value. Net present value of the project that we invest in must be up there. So when we talk of capital rationing, we are looking at the scarcity. And this scarcity, of course, will mean that we shall be having conditions which will be guiding us, like how do we invest? Remember, we have got two types of capital rationing. We have what we call internal capital rationing, or the soft. And then we have what we call the external or the hard. So this one basically is imposed on us. These are restrictions imposed on us by the management. The senior managers will come and say, hey, we know that we have given you these funds, but now remember, you can't use more than 20 million in project A. So of course, within the firm, we could be having lots and lots of money, but we have restrictions coming to us because of the conditions being provided by the board. Should we have a lot of need for increasing, for example, a project's capital, right? And we convince the management, then the management can say, hey, let's relax a little bit. And that's why we are saying that these are what is soft capital rationing, soft, because they can lift the lead and add you something small. But when we talk of external stroke hard capital rationing, these are now those conditionalities which are imposed to us by factors that are beyond our control, by stakeholders that are outside the firm. So for example, the bank will come and tell you, hey, we have given you an overdraft, but you can only draw up to 10 million Kenya shillings. This is a hard rationing. There is nothing really you can do for you to have the bank flexing. It's a hard rationing. There's nothing you can do about it. You can only draw up to 10 million. So it's either you accept this or nothing really. So it's hard. It's external capital rationing. So that is quite an easy introduction. What I would want us to do today is to look at this question that most of you, of course, you guys told me, it's still in red. It's still in red. We shall overcome. I like things which are in red like this. These are very important one. But I hope you guys are able to see my screen. So we are told illustration 1, Kihingo Limited is considering 5 project proposals as summarized below. So you can see projects A up to E. We can see the initial cost. We can see the annual revenues. We can see the annual fixed cost. And then we can see the life of what year the project. Additional information, the variable cost is 40% of the annual revenue. Projects D and E are mutually exclusive. Each project can only be undertaken once and each is divisible. Assume that all cash flows are confined to within the life of each project. The cost of capital is 10%, no inflation, there is no risk, no taxes. I like the no taxes thing because once I hear there are no taxes, then I will not be computing depreciation. All cash flows occur at anniversary dates. That is what year? Noise. Assuming that the company has a limit of shillings 40 million for investment in projects at time 0, determine the optimal allocation of the shillings 40 million among the projects and the resultant what year maximum net present value. Now listen and listen to me very well. The key thing is here that our capital is limited. our capital ratio is 40 million. Now, again, the other thing you're supposed to know, ladies and gentlemen, is that this 40 million is going to affect us only in one timing, at the beginning of the project. Assume that the company has a limit of 40 million for investing in projects at time what year? At time 0. So it's a one-time limitation at the beginning of the project. Other projects will tell you that you have 40 million in time 0, 50 million in time 1, 60 million in time 2. So you can see we are talking over multiple periods. Now listen, if it is one period, capital rationing, we normally use profitability index. One period, capital rationing, like now the one that we have here, it's only hitting on us. The capital rationing is hitting on us at time 0. In future, there is really nothing there. Good. And then what if we are to have at time 0, 40 million, at time 1, for example, 45 million, at time 2, 50 million. When this capital rationing extends to a period which is more than 1, right? Then we talk of multiple periods, and the multiple period capital rationing, we shall always be using what we call linear programming. We shall be using what we call linear programming. So listen, one period, profitability index. Multiple periods, linear programming. I hope that is okay. Ladies and gentlemen, then I would want us to move with speed. This is quite an easy question, and I know most of us have already done it. So what I'll do, I'll come and pick the projects that I have there. I have my projects here, A, B, C, D, E. These guys have given me the revenue. They have given me the revenue. The revenue there, the revenue here, I can see it is 20, 30, 18. So we have 20, 30, 18, 20, 30, 18, 20, 30, 18, 17, and then 8. And then they have given me something very nice, that the variable cost is 40%. So I know there is a shortcut there. I can easily decide to work with contributions, but let's move slowly. Please come and subtract for me the variable costs that are 40%. So it is 40% of these numbers. Who can give me these figures very fast? 40% of these numbers, what do we have? 40% over 20. Of course, I know the figure, but I want to get this figure from you. 40% of 20. Please move with me very fast. So they're telling me it is 8. How about 40% of 30? How about 40% of 30? 12. How about 40% of 18? 40% of 18, 7.2. Then we have 40% of 17. 40% of 17, 6.8. And then lastly, we have 40% of 8. 40% of 8. 40% of 8 is 3.2. Now, could you be very, very nice to me, as you have always been? Could you kindly be very nice to me and give me the name of the figures that we shall be getting? The figures that we shall be getting, what name do we give to these figures? The name. What name do we give to the figures that we shall be getting? Baptize my figures. Baptize my figures. Baptize them. Baptize them. Thank you very much, Lenovo. Contribution. So we have here, these are our total contributions. So I have, this is 12. This is 12. Contribution margin. No, this is a figure. This is money. It's contribution. Just contribution. It's contribution. It's contribution. Yeah, contribution. So 12, 20 minus this is 12. 30 minus this is 18. All right. How about this? These figures, you guys must give them to me. This is 18 minus 7.2 gives me what figure? 10.5? 10.5? 10.5 really? No. 10.8. 10.8. Thank you very much. 10.8. From there, we have 17 minus this. 17 minus this. 10.2. Thank you very much. And then lastly, we have 8 minus 3.2, giving me what figure? 4.8. And then those days that I used to teach advanced management accounting, advanced management accounting before I graduated, there is a formula I really loved. They used to tell us that profit is total contribution minus fixed cost. Profit is total contribution minus fixed cost. Whatever we have here is our total contribution. So then I need to come and say less fixed cost. So in this question, are you able to see the fixed cost in this question? Are you able to see the fixed cost in this question? The fixed cost in this question? Yes. They have given us fixed cost. We have 510,682. Fixed cost is 510. Fixed cost is 510,682. 682, like that. So come and subtract for you to give us something very important. For you to give us something very important, please subtract for you to give us something very important. So when you subtract like that, please give me the figures first. My own goal tells me this is 7. Thank you very much. How about this is 8? How about this? Thank you, Purity. 4.8. Have you used your calculator? Yes. Is it 4.8? And then we have 2.2. Yes. Thank you, Ruth, Bila, Wairimo. The last one is 2.8. So what name do I give to these figures? What name do I give to these figures? What name do I give to these figures? Yeah, thank you very much. It is profit before depreciation and what year? Tax. Profit before depreciation and tax. But of course, I am appreciative of the fact that the students who are telling me that this is cash flow, they are not also far from the truth. Because we don't have what year? Tax. We don't have tax. So you're right that this is the cash flow. Thank you very much. Now, having gotten this as my cash flow, then, what do you think will be the next thing to be done? Having gotten this as my cash flow, what do you think will be the next thing to be done? We discount. Thank you very much. So please come and discount here. Please come and discount here. Discount. So then we need to calculate the PV FAR. We need to calculate the PV FAR. As the examiner given me the discounting percentage. As the examiner given me the cost of capital, it is 10%. 10%. Now there is a group of students, and I can't really blame them. They'll tell you, Mwalimu, you can't use PV FAR really. Then you ask them why. And we are seeing the figures here are really dancing. They are really different. But let me ask you a question. Are you blind to the fact that these are not years? Are these years like year number 1, cash flow now is different? No, these are not years. These are independent projects. If I decide it is A alone, then automatically I'm going to enjoy this 7 every year. It's an annuity. I'm going to enjoy the 7 every year. It's an annuity. I'm going to enjoy that 7 every year. For how many years? For 7 years. 3 years, actually. You can even see the language. Annual revenue, annual fixed cost. So these are annuities. These are annuities. So if there are annuities, then I'll be interested in, so this is PV FAR. For project A, it is PV FAR 10%. 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 How about the number of years? How about the number of years? You can see the number of years. For project A, I can see 3 years. Project B, I can see 5 years. 5 years. Project C, I can see 4 years. 4 years. Project D, I can see how many years? 10 years. 10 years. And then lastly for E, I can see 15 years. 15 years. Ladies and gentlemen, could you kindly go to your tables and read for me these PV FARs? Please go to your tables and read for me the PV FARs now. Very fast. Very fast. Very fast. That reminds me that I saw Lucy's missed call and I never returned. I was in church. but we shall overcome, right? We shall overcome. We shall overcome. So please go to your tables. The annuity, Betty tells me it is 2.4869. 2.4869. 2.4869. How about, I hope you guys saw where I got the 5 years from. We're given 10% is constant. So 379.08. Thank you very much. How about 10%, 4 years? 10%, 4 years. Thank you, Charity. 316.99. 316.99. Thank you very much. 316.99. Thank you very much. Then we have 614.46. 614.46. And then we have 10%, 15 years. 10%, 15 years. 760.61. 760.61. Thank you very much. Now that you guys have been able to give me the discounting factors, the PV first, I'll multiply. I'll multiply. So please multiply for you to give me what we call the present values. The present values. Please multiply for us. The present values like this, 7 times the PV for discounting factor. Present values, 17.4083. Thank you very much. How about 8 cash flow times this PV for 30.3264. 30.3264. Thank you. 15.2155. Thank you very much. And then we have this and this. This and this gives us what figure? 13.5181. 13.5181. And then we have lastly this and this. This and this will give me what figure? 21.29.70. 21.29.70. 21.29.70. 21.29.70. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, remember you are the guys who are guiding me. You are the guys who are guiding me. Could you kindly tell me the next road that I should hit? The next road that I should have my rubber round off? No. For PI, we remember your section 3. If you remember your section 3, ladies and gentlemen, for PI, we prefer, in this case, you're getting what here? Yes, subtract IO. So we prefer less initial outlay. We prefer many decimal places. Less initial outlay. So are you able to see the initial outlays really? Are you able to see the initial outlays really? So initial outlay is given here. Initial outlay is given here 10, 30, 15. So initial outlay, we have here 10, 30, 15. 10, 30, 15, 12, 18. 12, 18. Like that. Thank you very much. So please come and subtract for us for you to be able to give us the famous net present value. For you to give us the famous net present value. Surprisingly, this question was brought the other semester, just last semester, and many students were really struggling with this question. It was quite a low-hanging fruit question. Very free, many free marks really. Many free marks. So could you kindly then subtract for us very fast? So what do we have here? 740.83. 740.83. And then we have 0, 32.64. We have 0, 21.55. We have 151.81. We have 3, 29.70. 329.70 like that. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. From there, I'll be able to go a notch higher. And this notch higher that I would want us to look at, now that I have the net present values, I'll be able to recall very fast that this examiner wanted me to make a decision in light of what here? In light of a constraint. And this constraint is single period coming to us at the beginning of the entire project. At time 0, we only have 40 million to invest. We only have 40 million to invest. Now, ladies and gentlemen, listen to me very well. Whenever it's one period, I gave you some secret. Whenever it's one period, capital rationing, we normally use which model to make decisions? We don't use NPV. Whenever it is single period, we normally make use of a profitability index. Thank you very much. If it's multiple periods, we use linear programming, which I'll be showing you in a moment. So here we're looking at single period, 40 million being limited at the beginning. So it's profitability index. Then could you be very, very kind to me? Is there anybody who can give me the formula of profitability index? Profitability index equals who? Profitability index equals who? Profitability index equals who? Is there somebody who is able to remember the formula? Profitability index equals who? Yeah, it is present value over initial outlay. Present value over initial outlay. Thank you very much. So start with the project A. Project A, you can see there, not net present value. Project A is having a present value of 17. This is 17.4083. So divide this by the initial outlay, which is 10. Divide this by the initial outlay, which is 10, which will give me 1.74084 decimal places. Can even put more decimal places. So then could you kindly give me the profitability index for project B? Profitability index for project B, somebody? Profitability index for project they are not giving me figures. So they are not giving me figures really. They are not giving me figures really. So for project B, it is 1.10, 1.08, 1.01, 1.01, 1.01, 09. Thank you very much. Or 1088 if you wish. 1088. How about C? C. Project C, I'll take this 15 divided by this 15. C. For project C. Project C, somebody 10, 144. 10, 144, like that. Thank you very much. How about project D? Project D, what do we have there for project D? 11,265. 11,265. I know there is a decimal there. There is a decimal there. And then lastly, E. E is 11,832. E is 11,832. There is a decimal there. So are we together up to here, ladies and gentlemen? Are we together up to here? Are we together? Yes. Thank you very much. So after I get profitability index for each one of them, what do you think will be the next thing for me to do? After getting we rank, yes. So please go ahead and rank these. Could you kindly rank? Remember, the higher the profitability index, the better a project is. The project that has got the highest profitability index, we give it number 1. Good question there. How do we know that this is single capital rationing? Thank you very much for asking that question. If you look at this question here, they told us, assuming that the company has a limit of 40 million for investment in project at time 0, right? So that automatically tells me that this capital rationing is coming to us only once at the beginning of the project. It's not spanning over a period. This is quite different. For example, from a question of this nature. Look at, for example, this question. They've told us available funds are restricted as follows, and they're making restrictions at time 0, 25,000, time 1, 30,000, time 2, 20,000. So you can see in this case, the restrictions really are flowing over more than a year. It's a multi-period capital rationing. And if it's a multi-period capital rationing, then we shall be using what we call linear programming. So I hope I've been able to answer you there. Is that okay? I hope I've been able to give you a satisfactory answer. A satisfactory answer. And then if that is the case, then I would really want to, yes. So let's rank them. But as we rank, please remember, as we rank, that we have two projects here which can never be carried together. Projects D and E are mutually who? They are mutually exclusive. They are mutually exclusive. D and E are mutually. So please help me with your rank. So which takes number one? The highest is project A. So this takes number one. How about number two? Number two, is there somebody who is able to see number two? Anybody who is able to see project number two? Project number two, what do we have there? They are not talking to me. Project number two is E, 1.18 years. So E takes up number two. But now remember that D and E cannot be executed together. They are mutually exclusive. They are mutually exclusive. It means that it doesn't matter what, so long as you have decided to pick E, then D cannot be undertaken. D has to be struck off. D has to be struck off. So after E, which one in this case here should we go for? 01, 01, which one is the high? I can see it is C. So this takes position number 3. This takes position number what here? Number 4. Number 4. So the question that we are doing, ladies and gentlemen, is this question that I given to you last time. You can even take a screenshot of this. All right. This question of Kihingo Limited. Kihingo Limited. Ladies and gentlemen, after that, now I know what to do next. Now I know what to do next. Now I know what to do next. After that, what I shall come and do is to prepare the last table. Is to prepare the last table, yes. Which table are we preparing? No, it's not the Last Supper. No, the Last Supper, but just the last table. The one that we are preparing, ladies and gentlemen, here is this one here. Allocation, yes. So you go to allocation very fast. You go to optimal allocation. So you shall allocate as per the ranks. So we have A, E, and then we have a C, and then we have got dog, C and boy. So please give me the initial outlays. The initial outlay of A. Is there anybody who is able to remember the initial outlay of A? Somebody give me this figure. The initial outlay of A, this has been given. Initial outlay of A is 10. Thank you very much. 10. Thank you very much. So initial outlay of A is 10. How about the initial outlay of E? How about the initial outlay of E? 18. Thank you very much. How about the initial outlay of C? How about the initial outlay of C? 15. How about the initial outlay of boy? Initial outlay of boy? 30. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, after I get this, it will be very important for me to come and talk of cumulative. Cumulative. Remember, at the end of the day, I have some picture in my mind. I can't exceed 40. So cumulatively, what do we have? We have 10 there. Ukiongeza inakuja ngapi somebody? Ukiongeza inakuja ngapi somebody? Ukiongeza inakuja ngapi somebody? Inakuja 28. Thank you very much. Hebu ongeza hii. Hebu ongeza hii. Ongeza hii uone. 43. 43. 43. Wanasema mwalimu, hiyo ni 43. 43. So washajua hapa sasa kuna dhena. Yani kuna shida. Kuna dhena. Dhena ya nini? Unajua maximum ambao uko nao ni ngapi somebody? The maximum that you have is how much? 40 years. So by going for C, you have already overshot your 40. You are already beyond your 40. So then I'll come and write here the last column, amounts to be invested. Although you can go for a shortcut here, amounts to be invested in each project. In each project amount to be invested, this is 10, this is 28. Here, there is no way I'll invest this 15. No way I'll invest the 15. I would want this amount to be 40. For this to be 40, I have to deduct 3. So I'm deducting 3 from this, which will leave me with what here, 12. Of course, this other one here will not invest anything. You ilipitwa sasa. You ilipitwa sasa. Ukiongeza hizi tatu 10, 28, 12. 10, 28, 12. Ukiongeza itakuja 40 exactly. Kumbukeni hapa ndio iweze kuwa 40, nimesema minus 3 hapa ndio iweze kuwa 40. Kumaanisha hapa lazima ni deduct minus 3 pale. Ndio iweze kubaki ngapi? 12. Abracadabra, ukiongeza hizi zote shote, are they able to come to 40? Naona 50, Samuel anasema naona 50. Aya. Wanasema inakuja 50. Wanasema inakuja 50. Sababu gani ya makosa gani? Hata mimi niliruka wapi? Angalia. Nilikuwa niangalie column ya kwanza, I'm sorry. Nilikuwa niangalie column ya kwanza. Amount to be invested in A alone is 10. Amount to be invested in E alone is 18. Thank you. Is 18. Is 18. You know, 28 was to cover both. And then the amount to be invested in C is 12. Now, thank you very much. Are we able to get that 40 now? Are you able to get that 40 now? Are we able to get that 40 now? Yes. Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, remember, woye, nisikizeni vizuri. Ikija kwa NPV ambayo unachukua, unajua you may invest 10 over 10. You may invest 10 over 10. So unachukua 10 over 10 times the NPV, a project A, right? How about the other one? You may invest 18 over 18. So 18 over 18, 100% times the NPV of project E. Lakini ukija hapo may invest 12 over the original what? 12 over the original 15. 12 over the original 15. Abracadabra, nilivuta NPV zangu. Hebu saidia mwalimu NPV zangu. NPV ya A ilikuwa inakuja ngapi? Who told me to strike off my NPVs? Ya A ilikuwa inakuja ngapi? NPV ya A ilikuwa inakuja ngapi kabla nijibu maswali? Ya A, jameni, saidia mwalimu woye. 7.4083. NPV, NPV, right? NPV, I'm talking of NPV. Thank you very much. 70.4083. How about NPV of Project Egg? NPV of Project Egg. NPV of Project Egg, we have 329. 329. 71. How about NPV of Project Cow? NPV of Project Cow. NPV of Project Cow ilikuwa inakuja ngapi? NPV 0.2155. Don't prorate. Nipatie total ile mpya ile uko umepata. Don't prorate first. Ile uko umepata 0.2155. 2155. Na ukinipatia hizi zinakuja ngapi? Itabaki vile vile 70.4083. Itabaki vile vile 329.71. How about the last one? How about the last one? The last one nakuja 0.1724. 0.1724. Hebu niongezeni yote. Uniambie itakuja ngapi? Somebody, the total NPV. Uniambie itakuja ngapi? The total net present value. Total net present value ukiongeza itakuja, total present value ukiongeza itakuja ngapi? 10.8778. 10.8778. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And that is what was expected of you in this question. This is what was expected of you in this question. So are we together up to there? Are we together up to there? Is there anything that you would want mwalimu to do? Is there any question that I saw somebody asking? A very good question up there, but I think that student has been answered. I think that student has been answered. I think the student has been answered. I think the student has been answered. Is that okay? Now, from there, ladies and gentlemen, please, let's go straight away. to multiple period. Why have we used net present value? You know, I'd given you a solution of this question. And in that solution, I was prorating the present values, right? But at the end of the day, I want to believe we got the same answer. And I like this method. I like this method where you just get NPV and then you prorate now. I like this method. Are the answers the same? Are the answers the same? Are the answers the same? Great. Great. Yes. How did you distribute the initial outlay? The initial outlay, remember this initial outlay, you don't even have to go like the cumulative way. No. This at times could really distract you. A good student will come and tell you, you know what? This is AEC. AEC. AEC, when you add everything, you are getting 40 what? 43. Right? Koja kwanza. Tuko na AECB. AECB. Could you kindly give me the initial outlay of boy? Kindly give me the initial outlay of boy. What do we have there? Kindly give me the initial outlay of boy. What do we have here? Somebody give me the initial outlay of boy. 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 Or somebody 13. So then when you add all of them, how much are we getting? When we add all of them, when you add all of them, the initial outlays, all of them, AECB, 30, not 13, 30, thank you very much. So when you add all of them, what are we getting as our total initial outlay? 73. But you see, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we need. But what we have is not enough. And this has ever happened to me, especially those days when I used to be a bit poor. Unakamata vitu na watoto kwa shopping. Watu wanachukua vitu wanaweka, unaenda kwa ile kikapu ya supermarket. So ukienda pale unaambiwa kwamba wakishapiga ile mahesabu ulikuwa unabahatisha, wanakuambia they want 61,000. Na kwa kadi yako kuna 40,000. So what will you do? What will you do? Kama mzee, of course that is a very embarrassing moment, especially if there are people behind you. It's quite bad, and that's why I like working very hard. Ndio nipige umaskini mbali, mimi sitaki umaskini karibu na mimi kabisa. Overdraft, squeeze hazikukua. Hizo vitu squeeze hazikukua. So itabidi urudishe vitu zingine. Na zile unarudisha watu wanakupigia kelele tena. Watu wanakupigia kelele kabisa na tukwambia dadi usirudishe hii. So the same case. So hapa nitakuja niseme how much do I have? I don't have 73. What I have 40. 40 is what I have. 40 is what I have. So when I subtract 40, then what is the deficit? 73 minus 40 nakuja ngapi? Somebody 73 minus 40. What is the deficit? What is the deficit there? 73 minus 40. What is the deficit there? Somebody talk to me. 73 minus 40. How does the deficit look like? How does this deficit look like? The deficit in this case here, I'm being told, is 33. So then, hii 33, tukiendelea kuongea na vijana wangu, nitarudisha gani? Siwezi nikaanza kurudisha zile most important. Mungu nimezirank. Hizi ziko hapa juu ndio most important. Unaanza na kurudisha zile ambazo ziko useless. Zile ziko chini kabisa. So naangalia vile recover hii. So kwanza najua hii 30. You don't want to recover into 33. So hii 30, I'll recover the whole of it. After recover 30, naona kuna 3, which I'll continue recovering upward. Nimesha recover 30 out of 33, so niko na deficit ya 3. So narudi tena naambia kijana wangu, hatuwezi chukua sweets zote 15. Lazima turudishe 3. So urudishe 3, ndio the total recovered to be how much? 33. So kumaanisha hapa imebaki ngapi? Somebody imebaki 12. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, once I get this, so I'll be able to do now the proration straight away. So I'll come and talk over the proration straight away of NPV, the proration of NPV. Hapa nitakuja niseme 10 over 10 because unajua nilikuwa na I wanted to invest 10 and then of the day grace has allowed me to invest the 10. Itakuwa ni 18 over 10. Itakuwa ni 12 over what year? 12 over 15 multiplied by what year the respective net present values. So does this now make it easier? Does this make it easier? Does this make it easier? Does it make it easier? It's given the question. Evelyn, we've used PVFA for all projects. Evelyn, just check this video later. We used PVFA. Betty anasema bora usirudishe food. Betty is a good mother. Utamalizwa na vijana. Watakukula mzima mzima. Great. So understood. Thank you very much. And now that is it. And if you allow mwalimu here, straight away mwalimu will be able to go to what is most interesting for this class. The one that is most interesting for this class is now what we call multi-period. Multi-period here. Multi-period capital rationing. So it is a situation where the period of capital rationing is expected to be more than 1 year, many periods basically. In this case, it's impossible to rank the projects using NPV, profitability index, or what year IRR. A mathematical programming model, such as linear programming, shall be adopted in this case. And then they have given us a question there. A company intends to invest in 2 divisible projects, A and B. Each project can be undertaken fully or partially. So you can see end of year 0 up to 3, we have project A, we have project B. And then additional information, cost of capital is 10%, and no project can be done or what year postponed. Available funds are restricted as follows. So you can see project, rather we have a time 0, we can only invest 25,000. Time 1, we can only invest 30,000. So you can see here problems are many years. So funds not utilized in year 1 will not be available in the subsequent years. They want us to formulate the linear programming model. They want us to formulate the linear programming model to determine if the optimal allocation, of what year funds. And you're being told here that it doesn't matter whether you understand this question or not. The first thing that you've got to do here is to compute the NPVs of the projects. So please, could you kindly compute the NPV of project A and the NPV of project B? I'm giving you exactly 10 minutes to do that. Give me the NPV of A, give me the NPV of boy. Okay, so have they been able to get the net present values really? Have they been able to get the net present values? So if it's a question, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. So if it's a questionnaire that has got capital rationing, which is spanning for more than a period, which is spanning for more than one period, then we shall use what here? We shall use linear programming. But just like profitability index, the first thing has to be the computation of net present value, which I'm so happy because I've seen everybody has gotten the net present value and they're telling me, Mwalimu, don't do them. We are comfortable with that. Is that the stand of everybody? Is that the stand of everybody? Is that the stand of everybody? Okay. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, here I am. So they have given me the cash flows for project A. You can see, so project A, I'll come and write project A down. So now I'm computing the net present values for the projects. Net present values for the projects. So we have here project A. Project A, what do we have? We have 10,000. So I'll put that as 10. I'll put my figures in shillings, millions. I have 20 there, outflow. I have 30 there, outflow. I have 120 like that. This is year 1, year 0, year 1, year 2, year 3. So then what I need to do is to come and work with, have they given me the cost of capital of the core years is 10%. So this one, of course, I'll use what we call PVIF. PVIF at 10%. So PVIF at 10%, what do I have here? Somebody as PVIF at 10%. PVIF. Why am I making use of PVIF? It's because these cash flows are fluctuating. They are different, right? So now I'm making use of PVIF. Remember PVIF, the formula for PVIF. The formula for PVIF is 1 plus R raised to negative N. You go for the lump sums on your tables. I know you have these tables. So 10% at time 0, of course, this has to be 1. 10% at time 1. 10% at time 1, what do we have there? Somebody, it will be 1 plus 0.1 raised to minus 1. You can even use your calculator. 0.9091. Thank you very much. How about 10% raised to negative 2? 10% raised to negative 2. 8264. 0.8264, and then lastly we have year 3. So year 3, what do we have? 7513, 0.7513. So now come and create a column for present values for discounted cash flows. So present value, you're multiplying this and this gives me negative what here? Negative 10. This and this gives me 18, negative 18. So I want us to work with the millions. So that we have 10, 20, 30, 120 only, without thousands, to simplify our work. Minus 18.182, 182, yes. Then we have 30 by this, minus 24, minus 24.792. Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, we have the last one, which is 120 times this. 120 times this, which gives us 90.156. 90.156. These are now children of the same mother. Now I can add them up. So please give me the total net present value. Please give me the total net present value. Please remember my figures are in millions. Let's be consistent to avoid confusion. To avoid confusion, mine is 37. 37.182. Let's work these things that way. So that's project A. Come and do the same for project B. So mention there project B by this, right? So project B, the thing that I need are the cash flows, basically. The thing that I need here are the cash flows, basically. The thing that I need here are the cash flows, basically. So project B, I can see minus 20. Project B, I can see minus 20. I can see minus 10. I can see 0 there. I can see 70. Ladies and gentlemen, fortunately, I know that the PVF will be the same between the projects. The PVF between the projects will be the same. I know that the PVF between the projects here will be the same. I know that the PVF between the projects will be the same. So then what I expect you guys to do for me is to come and give me the present values of B. Present values of B. So minus 20 times this. Yeah, you're following. Present value times this. PVF will be the same because of 10% and number of years are the same. So then this will be minus 20. How about 1991 by this? Thanks, Betty. Thanks, Betty. Minus 90. Are you sure? No, this is just minus 10. I think it's 9. Are you sure, you guys? It's supposed to be minus 9.091. Minus, remember, because of what here? Minus 10. And this. Lastly, this one, I don't want anybody to give me the answer. I know this one. I know the answer here, Roba. I know the answer here is supposed to be 0. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we have the last one. We have the last one, 0.7513 times this 70, which gives me 52.591. 52.591. So please come and add. Give me the total. Give me the total. 23.5. Thank you very much. 23.5. Thank you very much. So that is the first thing that you do. From there, now you go to what we call formulation. So please go to what we call the formulation. Formulation. So the formulation, you can start right away with the constraints. With the constraints. With the constraints. Right? I have a question. Yes, my own. Please ask. Please ask. Are you able to type my own very fast? This number is very big. It will be very hard for me to really lift up. When IO and the NPV of the project are given. So my own, I get your question very well. Please give me a few minutes. I just finished this and then I'll be able to come back. I'll be able to come back to that. I'll be able to come back to that. Is asking us a very simple thing there. What if I go to an exam and realize that NPV is given? Like they give you NPV is 10, and then they give you IO is what here, for example, 2. The question is, how do you get your, for example, present value? How do you get, in this case, your profitability index? It's very easy. So remember, NPV basically is a present value minus initial outlay. So if NPV here is 10, present value is what I do not know, and the initial outlay that I have here is what? Is 2. I can easily get the present value. Now, the moment I get the present value there, see, present value will be 10 plus, which is crossover, 10 plus 2, which is 12. And now the moment I have present value, I can easily, in this case here, I can easily get my profitability index, PV over IO, Why don't we use that one over R? That one over R, it's because of what here, these cash flows are what here are irregular. This is not PVFA. There is a video that you guys must watch. Exclusive. No. You guys will now distract me. Please allow me, my own, to finish this, and then we'll be able to get back to whatever you guys are asking. Because I'm also using this to record your video for future, because I would want to finish this. because now you are taking me back to profitability index. I'm not supposed to mention that here. After I finish this question is when I'll be able to come to what you guys are asking. Great. Ladies and gentlemen, we look at the constraints. So remember, we have got how many projects here? We've got 2 projects here. Projects A and B. Projects A and B. So project A and B, look at constraint number 1. Constraint number 1, they have given us, we shall overcome, yes. So constraint number 1, they have given us something very important. They're telling us that at time 0, how much do we have? At time 0, how much do we have? Funds available at time 0 are 25. But we know, if you look at the individual project analysis, time 0, A needs 10 and a B needs 20. So I need to do the first constraint. So I know that the amount I'll invest in A plus the amount I'll invest in B cannot exceed this 25. Look at what I'm doing. This is abracadabra. This is abracadabra. So we know that 10 will be invested in A. So constraint number 1, it will be 10A plus 20B. Plus 20B should be less or equal to 25. So I'm looking at the amount being invested in A plus the amount being invested in B should be less or equal to 25. Should be less or equal to 20. Let me repeat this. Look at what I'm doing. Look at what I'm doing. Look at what I'm doing. I'm doing abracadabra. I'm doing something simple here. I know that at time 0, the funds that I have here in millions are 25. And then I know that these 25, I have to juggle and put some of it in A and juggle and put some of it in B. And they have told me, hey, you man, put 10 in A, put 20 in B. So I know that 10 times my project A plus 20 times my project B should be less or equal to the maximum that is available. Otherwise, I'll be called a thief. You will get somebody, in this case, he was 25 in his bank, or his salary is 25, whatever, but they're living a lifestyle of 50, 70, like they're thieves. Here we are saying, ladies and gentlemen, whatever we shall be investing in the 2 projects should either be exactly equal to 25 or less. Or less. Thank you very much, GX. They're saying, but 10 and 20 are negative. You know, here we are looking at the investment. So you can't have really the figures here in terms of what here? Negatives. We can't have the figure in terms of negative. So this is time 0 for the 2 projects, yes. I know you have understood nothing. And even the nothing that you've understood it what here? Wrongly. But I would want to see whether there is anybody who will be able to give us the second constraint. Let's see. Let's see. At times we understand through doing, yes. At times we understand through doing. Let's see whether there is anybody who will be able to give us constraint number 2. Constraint number 2. And if I was an examiner, this time around, I'll not give you the profitability index. If I were, and I wish I was an examiner, I would have given you this multi-period capital rationing. If I were, how I wish. My wishes were to be listened to anybody, by anybody. How I wish. This, exactly this. So when you're writing constraints, disregard the negatives. When you're writing constraints, disregard the negatives when you're writing constraints. There is nobody who has been able to write the second one. Nobody has been able to write the second one. Mayom, are you saying you understood or you did not understand? Mayom, make it easier for me. Yes. So I can see some students who have been able to pick the second constraint. The second constraint, Samoy Dennis, Daniel Odora has tried, but he has used a bad constraint. A bad constraint for thieves, you, Daniel. Ladies and gentlemen, Thank you. Listen and listen to me very well. Ruth, you have done it well, but how are you writing this? Ruth, how are you writing those figures, Ruth, really? So we can see the second constraint here. A, or rather A, we need 20. B, we need how much? 10. And how much do we have in year number 1? In total is 30. But these are year 1 figures. So then I'll take 22A plus 10B should be less or equal to this 30. Ah, brilliant. So they're telling me that you know what, in note 2, or rather constraint 2, I'll talk of what here, somebody? I'll talk of 20A plus 10B should be less or equal to, or equal to 30. Constraint number 2. How about constraint number 3? Constraint number 3, I can see the third constraint in the third year. I can see the third restriction is 20,000 in the second year actually. So then I'll talk of what here, somebody 30A. Of course, I can see the other one is 0. 0B should be less or equal to 20. And then I'll never forget the non-negativity. AB should always be greater or equal to, zero. Great. So we start first of all by giving them the constraints. So if it's multiple period, you can see my multiple period restrictions. Amount at time 0, amount at time 1, amount at time 2. So first of all, I start by putting down the constraints. And then later on, I'll come and say here, objective function. So objective function here will be to do what here, somebody? Will be to maximize total net present value. The objective function will be to maximize total net present value of A is 37.182A plus 23.5B. That is my objective function, and that is the end of the formulation. How I wish one day kasle wasikie tu kilio yangu, wanipe chance ya kuset mtihani. Wangesikia tu mzee kama mimi, wanipatie chance ya kuset mtihani, nitaleta hii. Wangenipatia hii. Hii ambayo unakataa kusikiza. So remember, in linear programming, we must always have one objective function. The objective here is to maximize the total net present value. Yeah, to maximize the total net present value, which is, this was for A, 37.182A plus 23.5, what year? Be like that. Abracadabra. I always sound like an examiner. How I wish. The way I love my students. Why would I want to teach you on Sunday if I was an examiner? I would tell you guys, relax. And then the final day, the last statement on your board. And then on the last day, I'll be able to do what here, somebody? I will be able to simply give you a leakage. But I'm not an examiner. The way I love my students. Singetaka wasumbuke sana. So somebody is not able to see some figure here. I hope now they'll be able to see it. Silvanus, I hope you are able to see it. Silvanus, I hope you are able to see it. Silvanus, I hope you are able to see it. I scroll up. You're not able to see it even now. What do you mean? Silvanus, you're not able to see it totally up to now? How about the other guys? Now it's okay. Yes. Thank you very much. Aha. Robert anasema mwalimu nilishuku. Hapana. Iko sawa. Thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please listen and listen to me very well. Remember, this constraint here must be drawn on a graph paper. graph paper. Remember, it's linear programming. When it's linear programming, how many points do we need to be able to draw a straight line? How many points do I need to be able to draw a straight line? How many points do I need to draw? 2 points, yes. Oh, I cannot see your question. I cannot see your question. Mayomu umeweka your questions ngapi? Mbona sikuiona? Are you able to copy it very fast? You put it down here. Mayo, I can't see your question. Oh, reminder ya kule juu kabisa. Maybe now again you repeat the question. We shall overcome. Maybe you can repeat the question again. Ladies and gentlemen, from there we need 2 points, and the 2 points are normally very easy. We start with the first constraint. We ask ourselves, when A is 0, what will be the value of B? When A is 0, when A is 0, when A is 0, this term disappears. It means that B will be 25 over 20. 25 over 20. Wewongo, 25 over 20. Angalia, sitakuwa when A is 0, this disappears, then 20B will be equal to 25. Right? The limit is 1.25. Tena kujiuliza, what about that juncture when B is 0? What if B was to be 0? What will be the value of A? If B was to be 0, what will be the value of A? Somebody abracadabra, abracadabra, abracadabra. Still for constraint number 1, for me to get the second point. For me to get the second point, constraint number 1. So when B is 0, this disappears, and then we shall have our 10A being equal to 25. So A will be 25 over 10, which gives me 2.5. Now, could you kindly go and do the same for constraint number 2? Please go and do the same for constraint number 2. For constraint number 2, what do we have there? For constraint number 2, what do we have there? Somebody. Constraint number 2, we are asking ourselves a simple question. When A is 0, what will be the value of B? When A is 0 here, B alone will be equal to 30 over 10. 30 over 10, which gives me to what? Which gives me what figure? Somebody 0.3? I doubt. I doubt. So nasema B itakuwa ni 3. B itakuwa ni 3. B itakuwa ni 3. B itakuwa ni 3. Then come and tell us here one thing. What about when B is 0, A will be equal to who? When B is 0, A will be equal to who? When B is 0, A will be equal to who? $1.5. Thank you very much. Let me emphasize here that when B is 0, this disappears, and then we'll have 20A being equal to 30. Then A will be 30 over 20, which will be 1.5. Thank you very much. So from there, we go to number 3. Number 3, remember here we had 0B. You see 0B, I'm better off without writing it totally. 0B is nothing. So here, I'll be able to see confidently that A will be 20 over 30, which is 0. What here, somebody? 67 like that. 0.67 like that. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment, of course, this is non-structural. This is an assumed one. It's a free mark one. A comma B is more than 0. This is a non-structural one. So then what you need to do is to come and draw these constraints you have there on a graph. Please come and draw them. Please come and draw them. Come and draw them on the graph. What do we have here on the graph? What do we have here on the graph? So draw them on the graph. Okay. So you can take this to be our project A, and we can take this to be our project boy. Project boy. You can take that to be our project boy. Okay. Okay, so draw very fast. Draw very fast. Draw very fast. Let me know, Mayom, when you are ready. Let me know when you're ready. Let me know when you're ready. Okay. Board up. Up or down? What part do you want to see? What part do you want to see? Down, okay. Okay. Great. So A, you can see the biggest value of A here. You see 0 here, A 2.5, A 0.67. So the biggest for A is 2.5. So I can go 0.5, 0.5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 0 there, 0.5, 1.0, 1.5, 2.0, 2.5, like that. I'm waiting for you to tell me you're finished. Right? Maybe somebody can just write this down and then you throw it straight away to our WhatsApp for Mayom to pick it. Yeah, that will be easier. That will be easier. That will be easier. Somebody can even take a screenshot. Somebody can take a screenshot of their book. All right. Yes. So also go and do the same here for boy. For boy, you can decide to use the same axis, right? Okay. So we have here 0.5, 1, 1.5, 2.0, 2.5 perhaps. The calculation is not clear, then I'll be able to repeat. But for now, please allow me first of all to finish this. So look at this, look at this. I'm being told for constraint number 1, look at constraint number 1. Constraint number 1, we can see A is 0, B is 1.25. You can see B is 0, A is 2.5. So you can see A here is 2.5. A in this, A is 2.5, and B is 1.25. So 1.25 will be somewhere in between here, at the middle there. You are the ones who told me that I need 2 points only to be able to draw a straight line. So please, after this, come and join the two using a straight line. And then, of course, if it's linear programming, you must tell me where to shade. I remember what my primary school, not primary, but secondary school teacher told me. He told me that when you have this kind of a constraint, you can easily know where you're supposed to shade. Kwamba kitu imeshadiwa pande ya juu, ukiangalia ile macho ya undani, imeshadiwa pande ya juu. Unajua hapa chini iko kidogo, huko iko ni mingi. So hii iko shaded on the upper side. The same teacher told me you're not able to understand that. Just imagine this, that this constraint is a less or equal to. So less is what is required. And we normally, in this case here, shade the unwanted side. But the most important thing, for example, if I have a line like this, and then these guys are using this kind of a constraint, then I'll be able to know which side to shade. Like now here, if I go by this, I'll easily know that I'm supposed to shade which side, the downside, like that. Now, the gentlemen, listen and listen to me very well. When you go to the second line, what do we have? Let's see. For the second line, I can see B is supposed to be 3. There is a B3. So there is a B3. So 2.53. There is a B3. B here is supposed to be 3. And then A is supposed to be 1.5. So A is supposed to be 1.5 there. Join like this. and then look at the constraint that you have. The constraint that I have here is less or equal to. The constraint that I have is like that. So I'm supposed to shade the upper side without even reasoning. So come and shade the upper side without reasoning at all, like that. Right? So before I repeat on the calculations, ladies and gentlemen, look at the last one. It is telling me that A is 0.67. So A 0.67, this must be around here. Please, my graph may not be very nice. So in this case here, 0.67, you can see it's an upper thing. They want me to shade the upper side like that. So I'm assuming that this is 0.67 constant. No, which one is supposed to be 0.67? Sorry, not this one. This is B. It's A, which is supposed to be 0.67. So 0.67 must be somewhere here. 0.67 must be somewhere there. It is A, that is 0.67. You have it like that. 0.67, you have it like that. You can see where they want you to shade the other side. So come and shade. So this is the one that tells me that my A is supposed to be 0.67 like that. Remember, all these are shadings, ladies and gentlemen. And then if you remember from your section 4 QA very well, we used to say this is a feasible region. And for the feasible region, you label the constraints, you label the corners. You label the corners. So then I would want to repeat on these calculations. Jamie is saying no. Jamie, remember they have told me A is the one that is 0.67, and this is line of A. This is a line of A. So as I talk to my own here now I'm talking to my own. I'm talking to my own here. As I talk to my own here, please ensure that you guys follow through the diagram. My own, look at this. You see, I want to get 2 points. And the 2 points are which ones? The 2 points are which ones? So A30 and B0. A30 and B0. Then my own, remember, in mathematics, really, if you're told to multiply A and 30, you can't say it is A30. No. Mathematics doesn't allow that. It has to be the other way around, right? To start with the number, 30A. So it's supposed to be what here, somebody? Yeah, it's supposed to be 30A plus. So the formulation down, what do we have here? So like now here, you ask yourself, when A is 0, look at this. When A is 0, 10 times 0, that is 0. Then I'll have here 20B equals 25. 20B equals 25. 20B equals 25. How about B alone? It will be 25 over 20. That's how we were able to get that 1.25 for B. On the same breath, same constraint, I'll come and ask myself, what of when B is 0? When B is 0? When B is 0, when B is 0, what happens? When B is 0, this dies. All right? So then I'll have here 10A equals 25. I'll have here 10A equals 25. 10A equals 25. How about A alone to be 25 over 10? That's how I was able to get that 2.what here? 2.5. Right? What of when A is 30? There is nowhere where A is 30. Remember, it is 30A plus 0B, right? 30A plus 0B less or equal to 20. Less or equal to 20. So then in this case here, what I need to do is to come here and talk of what here, 30A plus 0B. First of all, 0B is nothing, right? Right? 0B is nothing. Equals what here? Equals 20. So then A will be 20 over 30. 20 over 30, that will give me 0.what here? 67. A is 0.67. A is 0.67. A is 0.67. Okay, great. Now somebody is telling me that, Mwalimu, I don't understand the shadings. No problem. So you see, like, for example, the first one that I did was this line for constraint number 1. Right? For constraint number 1, we did this one, this line here. But you see, we are supposed to shade the unwanted side, the unwanted path. The part which is wanted is the part which is less than, the one that is towards 0. And as normally we shade the unwanted side. You know, there are two sides. There is a downside and there is the upper side. So here, the downside is the one that is towards 0, is the wanted, less or equal to. So the unwanted, you shade the other side. So Karen, are we together now? Karen, are we together? You shade the unwanted part. I like that. You shade the unwanted part. Thank you very much. Now, please do me a favor. This is what we call the feasible, the unshaded region. The unshaded region is the feasible area. So for the feasible area, please give me the corners. Are you able to see the corners? Are you able to see the corners for the feasible area? For the feasible area, are you able to see the corners? So corners for the feasible area, these are corners A, B, C, D. So for these corners, ladies and gentlemen, how I wish, I would rather change. I don't want A, B, C, D because my products are A, B. I would rather change and talk over W, X, Y, Z. I'm so sorry, W, X, Y, Z. So that now here we have W, X, Y, Z, W, X, Y, Z. And then now you give me these in terms of our products, A, B. In terms of our products. So they're telling me, Mwalimu, W, A is 0 here, and the boy is 0. How about corner X? Is there somebody who is able to tell me at corner X, what is the value of A? What is the value of A? At corner X. At corner X, what is the value of A? Somebody talk to me tonight. At corner X, what is the value of A? The value of A, nikiangalia down, is 0. How about the value of boy? The value of boy here. The value of boy here. Somebody talk to me. The value of boy. The value of boy here. The value of boy. Wanasema 1.25. The value of boy is 1.25. Thank you very much. Now we come to this crazy one. This is quite a tough one. The value of boy, or rather A first. For Y, who is able to give me the value of Y? The value of A, I mean, the value of A. Remember, this is A axis. For Y, is there somebody who is able to see this value? They are not seeing it. They are not seeing it. Somebody tells me 0. No, that's a lie, because when I read down towards A, I can see it is 0.67. How about boy from here? Is there somebody who has got a very good graph paper? How about boy? How about boy? 0.67. No. Boy. When I read here, boy. Mary says 0.9. Purity says 1. 0.75. 0.75. Mayom says 0. How can this be 0? Mayom, honestly, it's quite far from 0. Boy here. Quite far from 0. Sylvester says 1. 0.9. 0.9 inachukua 0.9 inachukua sasa 0.9 inachukua sasa 0.9 inachukua sasa. Anasema ukweli. 0.95, 1.1. Abracadabra, how I wish you guys were using a graph paper. How I wish you guys were using a graph paper. So I've done it myself, and I'm able to see that at corner this is supposed to be 0.8. 0.8, and I'll be able to prove to you 0.8. Ule anasema 0.9 amekaribia sana. Wacha tuone nani anasema ukweli. Aya, sasa nilikuwa nimevuta yangu. Lakini najua kitu moja, kwamba at corner Y, najua kitu moja, at corner Y, which constraints are meeting? We have, this is constraint number 1. At corner Y, we have 10A plus 20B equals 25. And then we have this other one that is standing like this, which is this one, 30A equals 20. 30A equals, actually you told me that A is 20 over 30. A is 20 over 30. 20 over 30. That gave us what figure, somebody here? That gave us 0.67. So if this is the case, could you kindly go ahead and substitute here? Okay, substitute hapa, what do we have? Itakuja 10 times 0.67 plus 20 boy equals 25. Kwa hivyo nikidunga hapa katakuwa 6.7 plus 20 boy equals 25. Kumaanisha 20 boy will be 25 minus 6.7, which will give me what figure? Somebody talk to me. Somebody talk to me. Somebody talk to me. Somebody talk to me. Abracadabra. What do I have there? Abracadabra. Abracadabra. Somebody talk to me. Somebody try making B the subject of the formula. Somebody try making B the subject of the formula, and then your devices. What are we getting there? Then your devices. What are we getting there? Somebody, somebody, somewhere. 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 What are they getting there? Oh, 0.9 something. Then you guys were very correct. Then you guys were very correct. 0.9. So anybody saying 0.9 was exact. You're correct. I'm quite far, right? But you see, in an exam, we don't do it this way. In an exam, we have a graph paper. So the graph paper should be able to help us. In an exam, I would have read A is 0.67, and then I would have read here in the exam paper, I would have seen straight away that this is 0.9. 0.9. Guesswork, okay? So how about Z lastly? How about Z lastly? How about Z lastly? How about Z lastly? So Z, what do we have? Who can give us the coordinates of Z? 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 Abracadabra. Is there anybody who can give us the coordinates of Z? The coordinates of Z, what do we have here? This is not a tough one. The coordinates of Z, when I look at Z very nicely, Z is here. I can see A for sure is 0.67. Thank you very much. A for sure is 0.67. How about boy? So boy, when I look at boy, what do I have when I look at boy? 0, 0. And each of these four corners, you must come and give us the net present value. For each of these four corners, you must give us the net present value. Fortunately, you guys have the net present value equation. You told me that this is 37.182A plus 25 point something. Who can remind, I dropped mine here. Who can remind us, the one of B? The one of B was 25 point. The one of B was 23.5 boy. 23.5 boy. Thank you very much. This is the NPV. So abracadabra, nipatie NPV at W. Nipatie NPV at W. So at W, NPV will be 37.182. I know A is 0 plus 23.5 B, and I know B, so I know that will be 0. I know that will be 0. Please go to X. X, what do we have? We have 37.182 times 0 plus 23.5. I'm simply repeating the formula, times boy, which is 1.25. Abracadabra, please give me a figure, oh yeah. Please give me a figure, oh yeah. What are we getting here? Moses G tells me, Mwalimu, this is 29.3, 29. This is 29.3 something. 29.3 something. It's Moses G giving me a figure. 29, I would want to get this figure from other students as well. I would want to get 29.375. 29.375. 375. Thank you very much. So please go to Y now. Plug in the figures of Y. Plug in the figures of Y. Plug in the figures of Y, and then you advise. Plug in the figures of Y, and then you advise. Plug in the figures of Y, and then you advise. Plug in. So when I'm plugging in the figure of Y in the NPV equation, I have 37.182 times 0.67 plus 23.5 times 0.9. What are we getting? Somebody there. What are we getting? Somebody there. Inakuja 46.062. Thank you very much. So go to Z. So for Z, what do we have here for Z? Z, I'm plugging in. For Z, I'll talk of 37.182 times 0.67 plus 23.5 times boy of 0. So, Betty tells me 24.9, 24.912, 24.1.912. Remember, what was our objective? Our objective was to maximize total net present value. Our objective was to look for the highest. So which one is the highest here? Somebody talk to me. Which one is the highest here? Somebody talk to me. Which one is the highest here? Somebody talk to me. Which one is the highest? Which one is the highest? Which one is the highest? Yes, the highest, it's corner Y. So corner Y is the highest. So we call it the optimal corner. The optimal corner is corner Y. Is corner Y. And therefore our advisory is to produce as per corner Y. You produce A, 0.67, and then B, you produce 0. What here, somebody? 0.9, like that. 0.9. 0.9. 0.9. 0.9. And now that marks the end of what here? That question. Quite an interesting question, but I know at first it looks what here? A tough question. But what I would recommend is that you guys get time to watch this video. Get time to watch this video and ensure that you are able to tackle this question. Know that it will come in your exam. Know that it will come in your exam. Note that it will come in the exam. No, but for your what here? Your knowledge. For your knowledge. For your knowledge. Capital budgeting. Capital budgeting. You see, like